Hello and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Today's racing preview is going to be back on my home track of Churchill Downs. I'm doing a series of stakes races for this Saturday, June 1st. Multiple stakes races. Today, this one is going to cover the Grade 3 Shawnee Stakes. We're going to feature like dynamic fillies like Wet Paint, Xigera, and Hoosier Philly. I do have the Arlington, which is going to be out first. Then we'll have other stakes races like the Grade 3 Blame with Trademark and Tap It Trice. I'm going to be releasing these videos during the week. Then I'll have a playlist set up so you can go find them really easily. Also, check your time codes to jump from horse to horse if you'd like. So just subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, have any questions or hot takes, leave them in the comments, and let's get it going. Okay, the Shawnee Stakes is 8.5 furlongs on the dirt for the fillies. And so we're going to start with number 1, Magical Lute, trained by Ian Wilkes, ridden by Brian Hernandez, moving on up in class after scoring a win at Keeneland. She doesn't have a lot of success at Churchill Downs, but I've noticed as she turned 4, she seems to be improving and has had a couple of sharp workouts leading up. Could pop on and off track. We'll look at the past performances in a minute, and I'll show you that. So stay tuned. So Magical Lute could be a live long shot, maybe. So Malloy, number 2, Wayne Catalano, Jamie Torres. I don't think this one's fast enough. And so we're going to move on to Wet Paint, number 3. That's Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt. Fickle filly, to say the least. She did win the American Oaks last July at Saratoga, and then ran up against, she ran second in the Alabama after that. Then she kind of hit a wall versus much tougher. Last year's Breeders' Cup group was monster. And then this year, Apple Blossom, she didn't fare so well either. She's a closer who sometimes fails to respond, but I think this is a get-right spot. This is Grade 3 company. I think she can handle this group if she gets a good trip. Number 4, Take a Stand. Vicky Oliver is the trainer. Luis Saez rides. This one has been enjoying moderate success on the Turfway circuit. Her speed figures may improve moving over to the dirt, but she still looks a step slow to me. Number 5 is Bella Moore. That's Steve Asmussen. Tyler Gaffleone rides. This is a 6-year-old filly, ran lights out in a 1 1/16 Houston Ladies Classic back at Sam Houston on January 27th, earning a 101 Brisnet number, but she's kind of regressed as she's moved up in class. So she's back in Grade 3 company. She could compete in this one, I think, coming off a short break. Jockey switch to Churchill Downs leading jockey Tyler T. Gaff, as he's affectionately known. So wouldn't count her out. This one's an interesting one. Number 6, Xigera. Philip Bauer trains. Julian Leperoux will ride. Her 24 debut was an absolute disaster on Kentucky Oaks Day. She looked a little skittish in the gate to begin with, like she didn't like that sloppy surface, dancing around a little bit, a little jumpy. This was the Grade 1 La Troyenne, never in contention. So she just looked like she was spinning her wheels around the turns. But I think we'll get a better effort. Hopefully the track may not be as compromising. It rained a ton that day, and it was very, very sloppy. So I don't know that we're going to get that kind of conditions again, but I think she'll be a little bit better prepared, so to speak. I'd say this is number 7, Scylla. Bill Mott trains. Javier Castellano will ride. Adding blinkers. She did overcome a little bother early on to win an 80K allowance race. Did go 1 by 7 going a mile on Derby Day. Big 98 speed figure. That was pretty competitive. So maybe she might be out a little faster with the blinkers on. I guess that's the idea there. So number 8 is Hoosier Philly, and that is Tom Amos trained, Edgar Morales. I watched her run. I remember she won the big race Monomoy Girl at Ellis Park after it was moved away from Churchill Downs, and then she had a recent score in the Dig a Diamond and a patient ride inside move through traffic. She's a good stakes horse, but I don't know if she might be a little bit outclassed here. I'm probably underestimating her. She'll surprise me. Beautiful gray horse. So if you like grays, she's your filly. Number 9 is Hidden Connection. That's trained by William Calhoun. Ray Gutierrez, rider, ran a 91 Brisnet number in a recent second place effort in the Double Dog Dare Stakes at Keeneland. Took a brief lead, but then was passed up in the stretch. But she actually did hold off Scylla, who won next out, as we just discussed before there. So we're going to take a look at the past performances for this one, and before we make our selections. Okay, so just a quick look at the track stats. You can see we've had 7 races at the distance this week. The early speed is getting after it. Definitely this week, bias wise. This was probably it still had some compromising wet track over the weekend, especially Sunday. So be on the lookout. A lot of times these horses can get out front in the slop, and then it's really hard to close on them, depending on how the track is. So 42%, 29%, but it's not out of the realm. Obviously, anybody can win from anywhere. So just going to do a quick run through. This was Magical Lute, like I said, and I brought it up in a previous video. 21% mud. I don't know how off the track we'll have, but that's decent. 933. I'd rather see fewer mud starts, because then it would be a bigger deal for the percentages. But I do think that the lack of success at Churchill is somewhat concerning. But here's the works I was talking about: 1 out of 12, 1 for 11, a couple of real bullets there, working up to it. Has done her best running. She turned 4 years old and started out with an 88, then dipped to a 79 when she went up in class. So she dropped back down and won big. So maybe she's ready for prime time. But like I said, live long shot, this is something you could round your exotics out with. So that was my concern there. Then you have Malloy, who's a toss for me. Here's Wet Paint. You can see the BC, these last 2 races. But I mean, you had a Dare Manor, Idiomatic, Flying, I forgot the name, but that's a monster horse. Randomized. These are all big time horses. So the second in the Alabama, you can see how much closer. This is where I think that Pratt will have her, right here in contention early on, not way back here. If she gets too far back, like what happened in the Monomoy Girl, really, she got a little bit too far off the pace and let Hoosier Philly get away from her and couldn't close at just a mile. But this is a mile and a 16th, so this might be more to her liking. So she's probably going to be the top choice. Take a Stand, I think, is a toss. Bellamore, like I said, is an interesting one, but you got to really eliminate some. I like the connections of Asmussen and Tegath. Does have some good success, but I think this was her top figure. I don't think she can get back up to that again. I think probably low 90s is where she lands. Xigera, here's Xigera. Much success on the Churchill Downs surface, even though it was an absolute flop here in the slop. But I think you're going to see a big effort this time around. Wouldn't be surprised if she won the race. Then you have Scylla, who's just like her 2 Churchill Downs races going away 8 and 7 lengths. So she definitely likes that surface and can get out and press hard. So she's one with the blinkers on, might be a little more engaged. So you could see her a little closer, like she did here in this claimer here, where she took the lead. See how much faster she got up. So Hoosier Philly, like I said, BC Distaff got destroyed in that same race. Did win going a mile in this Dig a Diamond. Don't know what to think of her, but I think I'm probably going to have to leave her out. I'm probably going to have to leave Hidden Connection out too, even though has some good efforts here and some good efforts, decent efforts on Churchill surface as well. So that's going to do it for the past performances. So let's make some selections. It's between Xigera and Wet Paint for me. I think I'll lean toward Brad Cox. I think he's going to have Wet Paint ready to go here and closer to the lead, and so maybe she'll run down. I'd like to see those two hook up in the stretch. I think Xigera could win out front if Wet Paint is a no-show. Number 7, Scylla, has 2 huge wins at Churchill Downs going away at a mile, so I don't think the added 16th is going to matter. Like I said, number 1, Magical Lute, is improving and has 2 of those sharp workouts, so could be live to pop. So that's going to be my selections. Like I said, Wet Paint up top. So that's the Shawnee Stakes. Be on the lookout for more stakes coming soon. Thanks for watching. Until then.